Question number 7, the Honourable Shane Jones.
Mr. Speaker, to the Minister for Building and Construction, does he agree with IPENZ Chief Executive Andrew Cleland that the government needs to give the Institute greater powers to hold their own to account?
Honourable Maurice Williamson.
Mr. Speaker, what has become clear following the collapse of the CTV building in 2011 is that the accountability regime for engineers is woefully inadequate. I find it abhorrent that an engineer found to have done poor work can still be practising even after being stripped of their IPENZ registration. So the government is working to drastically improve the occupational regulations of engineers, and I expect to be able to announce some changes next year. That extensive work that is underway will determine what additional powers IPENZ would receive. It might be that the current structure of IPENZ, playing all the roles it does, may change as well.
Supplementary question, Honourable Shane Jones.
Why has it taken so long for IPENZ to step up to the plate, show accountability and bring this engineer into where he belongs, the dock next to the former CEO of Pike River?
Well, Honourable Maurice Williamson.
Mr. Speaker, first of all, I don't have responsibility directly for IPENZ, but I can tell the member that IPENZ themselves don't have very many tools in their toolbox to do such. That's why the whole case of the engineers involved in the CTV building have been put to the police, and the police are still currently investigating as to whether they will take a prosecution. I actually don't find it an acceptable regime where 115 people die in a building that was illegally designed, built and certified, and still no one held accountable, and that's why I think the regime must change.
Yeah. Supplementary question, Honourable Shane Jones.
How much worse does a building failure need to be than the CTV building collapse which killed 115 people before he secures accountability from the engineering professionals, IPENZ, or are they all like Alan Ray, motivated by personal profit and not professional responsibility?
Honourable
Mr. Speaker, well, I repeat again, I don't find the current regime acceptable. I don't think the current regime is acceptable. That's why we have been consulting with the engineering profession, bringing a issues paper to the market early in the new year, and would hope to have legislative changes during the course of next year, and I look forward to the support of members from the other side. In the meantime, I'm advised by IPENZ that the only action they can take is deregistration, and even that doesn't prevent an engineer under the current regime from still practising, and I find that just woeful.
Supplementary question, Raymond Huo.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question. Order. Supplementary question.
Supplementary.
Order.
That's a very good start. In light of his earlier answers, given that 70 international students died in the CTV collapse designed by IPENZ registered engineer Mr. Alan Ray, how does his denial of liability and their lack of accountability impact on the government's efforts to show we have learned the lessons of the CTV collapse to our international partners?
Well, Mr. Speaker,
Maurice
again, as a minister, I can only work within the bounds of the law. I don't have the ability to prosecute somebody. I do have the ability to put the material in the hands of the police so that they make that decision, and that material is with the police right now. And, sir, I have to say I find it a bit galling when I even make a modest statement about how I find the regime unacceptable. I received lawyers' letters that day saying, say anything more and we'll be suing you.
Supplementary question, Honourable Shane Jones.
Speaker, does it strike the Minister as odd that the former CEO of Pike River, mining engineer Mr. Peter Whittle, is in the dock for failures associated with Pike River, yet Mr. Ray, identified as the primary cause of the collapse of the CTV building, which killed 115 people, is getting off scot-free, continuing to trade and profit in the Christchurch rebuild?
Honourable Maurice Williamson.
Yes, I do find that an unacceptable dilemma, and I'm hopeful the police will soon have a decision on the CTV building.
Mr. Speaker.
Question number 8, Kanwal Singh Bakshi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.